In today's video, we're flying United Airlines on board this 777-200ER from here in Houston to London Heathrow. I've picked what I hope is a really good seat, but will it be a really good flight? Stay tuned to find out. We're just arriving back at George Bush Intercontinental Airport at Houston. We've had an 11-hour layover, which we spent at the Red Roof Plus, costing $60 for a daytime stay. We hailed an Uber for $16, and with that, let's pick up at the terminal. Our bags have already been checked through to London from our connecting flight from Lima earlier in the day, so we can head straight through security. We hit up Ruby's Diner for a late lunch and our first proper food in 2 weeks, which, it went down really well, but did set me back a small fortune. I did get the impression that Houston was undergoing some sort of refit when we flew through. This is August 2022, by the way. After that, we paid a visit to the Air France KLM lounge. Obviously, that's not included within our economy ticket on United, but it's a worthwhile treat for Morven's birthday. Happy birthday. There's plenty of booze on offer, none of it free pour unfortunately. A waiter did have to issue drinks for you. The food was self-service and there were plenty of salad options, but let's just say that I'm glad we had our Ruby's Diner burgers before we came in here.
Hey everyone, so we're just heading to the gate now for our flight down to, across the pond over to Heathrow. E5 is our gate today. We spent the past hour and a half liberating some carver out of the lounge. May have liberated some other bits as well in my backpack, but let's not talk about that. Let's head to the gate now. Boarding starts in a couple of minutes. Hopefully nice and easy. We're group 3 today, so fingers crossed we'll get our bags in the overhead lockers, and we've got an interesting seat choice for you too once we're on board.
We're the top flight here, United 880 over to Heathrow. Here's our aircraft, our 777-200. It's a 24-year-old example and it was delivered brand new to Continental Airlines in summer 1999. Seating at the gate was limited and we did arrive a little bit later than probably what we should have done, so we're sat on the floor whilst we wait for boarding to start. I really liked the boarding screens here at Houston and for United. They go over the boarding process and order, and more airlines should definitely do this. Boarding today, slightly late, but it is via a jet bridge. United have a few different layouts on their 777-200s. This is their international config and it features 50 Polaris business class seats, and they're split across 2 cabins at the front of the aircraft. In the centre and over the wing there's a small premium economy cabin with 24 seats, and that's in a 242 layout. The rest of the aircraft is made up of economy seating, broadly speaking in a 343, but we're heading towards the penultimate row of the aircraft now, which features this 232 layout as the aircraft fuselage narrows towards the rear. We booked this ticket with Lufthansa, and for some reason economy seat reservations were free. Given we're travelling as a couple, the seats that are 2 rather than a 3 certainly look the best. Our bags stored opposite as the bins over us were locked and we couldn't get in them. I assume it's for crew things. Someone can let me know about that down in the comments. And here's the setup for the next 9 hours. Having the extra seat in front effectively allows us to spread into the aisle if we need the space. And our stuff, we can push that under the spare space in front, giving us some more room for our feet. Here's the seat as at boarding, featuring a thin plastic wrap blanket, but there is no pillow on any United international economy flights. And as seems standard in the US, closed window blinds for boarding, I assume to try and keep the aircraft cool. Legroom is 31 inches, but I feel that this seat could have a little bit more given the curve and position of the seat. The tray table is one size and it doesn't split in half unlike some other economy seats. There's a 9-inch touchscreen which is really responsive actually. That's quite refreshing given I spent a lot of time on BA's aircraft. There's a really good selection of movies, which you can rank from A to Z. It'll take you a while to scan through though, you have been warned. You've also got 47 episodes of Big Bang Theory, which is about 20% of the entire back catalogue of that franchise. The armrest between us does fully retract, which allows us to maximise the seat space across both seats. Given the seat width is 17.1 inches, this should give us an extra inch. United didn't go with the individual air vents, but luckily enough we have a reading light. Unfortunately, due to bags and weather, we then picked up an hour delay, which, you know what, United were good, they kept us informed via text and via PA announcements. Given the delay, we had an hour to kill on the tarmac, which we spent playing the United Airlines quiz on the IFE. It turns out it's a really hard quiz. Okay, so this one is fairly easy, but how about the next one? Answers in the comments before I show you which year the Star Alliance was formed. We got it wrong. Did you? I won't bore you with the other 20 questions, but it certainly made our brains work. Thankfully though, it's time to get airborne. A short taxi out and we're powering down runway 15 left, just over an hour late. Now we're in the air, it's a good time to check out United Wi-Fi. The good news is that messaging is free for everyone, regardless of your class of travel. All you need to do is activate it. You can pay for more advanced Wi-Fi if you need to, but I'm going to sleep for the rest of this flight more or less, so I don't really need that today. There's also some basic flight information and some information about the aircraft, which is a bit of a nerd I quite liked. Legroom isn't so bad here, would you agree? Let me know in the comments. These United earphones, they're fine to start with, but you really don't want to have them in your ears for 9 hours. You're going to get some earache. Now, sitting at the back means you're likely to get your meal last, and that means you have to take whatever's left. Unless of course you order a special meal due to some sort of dietary requirement. Unfortunately for us, getting the pick of the seats means we're getting the worst food. And boy, this meal was poor. The chicken skillet option ran out ahead of us, meaning we're left with this vegetable stir fry, accompanied with a dry side salad, a bread roll, and some melted ice cream. On transatlantic flights, wine and soft drinks are complimentary. I believe spirits are chargeable. On this flight, it's an ultra beer, which on a United domestic sector will set you back $8. Soft drinks came in full-sized cans, which is always a plus. But you know what, I should have had a Diet Coke. The ultra beer was, let's say it's far from ultra. Let's get into the meal then. Like I said, it's not my first choice, and the veg was underdone. The noodles were slimy and they were cold. The side salad was dry and it didn't come with any form of dressing. It's the first meal on board an aircraft that I haven't finished, and I'll normally eat pretty much anything. Morven didn't even touch hers, and so I didn't really go for her leftovers either. That sort of tells you how bad this was. For dessert, we received a sorbet which came out with the meal. Unfortunately though, the opposite problem to most airlines, ours was melted and slushy rather than frozen solid. Our trays were cleared as soon as we'd finished, meaning the service was completed around 90 minutes after takeoff, which for a 777 I think is fairly fast and efficient from the crew, so a bit of a thumbs up there. The idea with this flight I think for most people is to sleep. It's an overnight flight and it's fairly short, so trying to maximise your sleep opportunity is probably the right approach here. Can anyone name this airport? Here's a hint. If you've had something delivered via UPS, your parcel's probably been through here. As the cabin lights dim and the Brits on board reminisce of our fantastic holidays, here's a view of the sun setting as we fly over the northeastern United States and head on into the Atlantic. Before I head off to sleep, let's check out the rear toilets. You'll find everything you might expect in here. There's a toilet, there's a sink, and there's a baby changing facility. There's even some hand soap. It's not the cleanest loo that I've ever visited, but it's also not the dirtiest, given that everyone's just finished their meals and likely used them. I'll take this opportunity to stretch my legs and take a walk through the cabin before heading off to sleep. After a restless and broken sleep, we woke up to the sunrise just under 2 hours outside of London. Breakfast, if you can call it that, was served an hour and 20 before landing. It's a strawberry yoghurt and a cinnamon streusel. Now, you can't really go wrong with a yoghurt, but when you consider that this is breakfast, is this really a meal? Anyway, with the food well suited to an episode of Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, let's start that approach and land on into Heathrow. So, how much did we pay for this flight? Well, we booked this as part of a London to Lima return through Frankfurt and Miami outbound and Houston inbound. On a per mile flown basis, this particular sector cost us £173. But if we take the quoted fare that we booked for the return portion of the trip, that comes down to only £123. Value-wise then, that's pretty good for a 9-hour flight. It's a clear day at Heathrow, and I've broken my golden rule. You should always sit on the right when you're landing, as you'll get a great view of the city. We're on the left today, so here's Croydon. Lined up to land now on runway 27 right. We're on stand an hour late, but it's still early in the day. As we leave, what are my thoughts on United? Well, their hard product is okay. Seats are comfy enough, the crew are friendly. The food is the big letdown. I didn't expect much, but I at least expected it to be edible. For me, not to finish is a statement of just how bad it was. Thanks for coming along today though. Please don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one, including a trip to Japan on British Airways. That's a good one. Give the video a like, and we will see you in the next one.